This is going to be pretty quick. I just have a couple of tips, tricks, pointers for you this week. So let me get started. So your activities for this week include a virtual lab called Biomes, which when you click on this, it's going to automatically grade it for you. When you click on this, it may take a while, and it's true. If you navigate off the page, it will slow the process down, but it eventually will load. So, you know, one recommendation if it's loading real slow is that you just, you know, walk away, go get something to eat, and then come back. But once this loads up, there's directions on how to work through it. There's some help over here also. So just be patient and it will eventually load. They do recommend using Firefox, so that's another option if Google Chrome is like taking forever. Switch to Firefox. So anyways, so that's how that one works. And again, you just got to be patient, follow along. There's questions that go along with it. It's kind of cool. It was one of the favorites amongst my students a year ago now, I guess. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this because I don't want to load it up. It'll take too long. All right, so the other activity, the one I'm going to talk a little bit more about, is the soil classification. So this is the document. There's a video that walks you through this, but basically percent clay is read directly across the table like this. So, you know, this is the 50% line here, and this would be the 40% across here. And then silt is read at an angle. So this line right here that makes up the triangle is 0% silt. And so this line here is 40% silt, sorry, 40% silt. And then sand, this is the 0% sand line. And so this would be, you know, across this way. And so you're going to start by working through, oops, stop that. Okay, so you're going to start by figuring out what makes 100%. So 55 plus 5 is, 50 plus 5 is 55. And then another 5 is 60. So 45 is the number that you would put in here. And then you would use this to figure out which thing we're at. So basically 5 would be a little bit, let's see, 5%, dang it, 5% sand would be over in this area here. So 5% sand. This is 0% sand, 5% sand, 45% silt. 45% silt would be here, and clay is here. Oh, yeah, and then, yeah, sorry, and then 5% sand is read along here. So this 10 would move over to the right a little bit. So it'd be silty clay. So you just write silty clay. All right, so that's how that one works. Moving forward, it asks you some questions. So you'll answer those. Then you're gonna watch this video and write up the lab experiment. So you're gonna watch a lab experiment on YouTube. And so what do I mean by that? Well, you're going to start with, you know, starting with a hypothesis about which cup, the gravel or the sand, will allow water to pass through faster. And then you'll talk about the materials. So just like you were in, you know, so you start with a hypothesis, ouch, and then materials, and then the steps that are taken, and then your data would be the next part. And then you're going to make a table, as they've said here, and then extrapolate by writing a claim, evidence, reasoning statement. So what do I mean by that? Well, a claim based on your experiment regarding clay soil. So this is showing the difference between gravel and sand. So based on gravel and sand, what do you think would happen with clay? So you would say, you know, clay will drain faster or slower. than gravel, right? And then what evidence do you have? Well, my evidence is that the gravel did faster or slower, kind of thing. And then your reasoning is based on this information. So because of this, and use words like permeability and pore space and things like that. So it'll make a lot more sense once you watch this. If you need more evidence to support your reasoning, I mean, to support your evidence, for more evidence for the evidence, watch this video. And if you do, saying, and then in the second experiment, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's going to be like a short little write-up on a lab. Okay. And then the next one is to figure out how different soils react to rainfall. And so I went ahead and put all these in. So what you need to do is go back to that soil texture triangle on the first page up here and fill in these values here. So what would silty clay be? So I would come up here. Okay, I don't know why that's there. So silty clay we already have, so you could write it down as 5, 45, 50. So you would just come down here and write 5, 45, 50. And then that would go ahead. We used to be able to do this, but we can't anymore. It was a live, like a flash enabled thing. So you need to fill this in, and then you're going to color it like it's asking. So if you're doing this virtually, let's say this is, you know, a group A, then you can just, you know, highlight it whatever color. So it says, you know, make it yellow or whatever. So you can do that. If you're coloring it, and use some color pencils or something. Then you're going to use your web browser to load up this soil website, and you're going to type in the zip code of the college, and then follow the directions. So you're going to find the soil underneath the college stadium. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. So, oops, sorry. No, I don't want you to know where I'm at. Okay, fine. All right, so I'm going to type in, you know, the zip code of the college. So I'll pick Copper Mountain College because that's the closest one to where I am right now. So oh, they may not have a stadium. They don't play football. The basketball team. It would be over here anyways. Here it is. Let's see if they do. Well, it doesn't look like it. So let's say this was their football stadium. So you would just go ahead and, so now I've zoomed to this location. And then you would just click on it, and this one says that there's no horizon data. So, so it doesn't quite work for that particular college. I should have thought that out before I showed it off. But let's say this is where the football stadium was. You click on it, and then you'd be able to answer the questions based on this information here. So, and then you're going to look at 2 other places. So, find a water feature that's, you know, close by, and then write down the information there. And then the Topeka, Kansas, and then figure out where you are. You need to, you know, zoom in to find your house or near your house. Make sure you ignore the urban land category. So if you live in a totally urban area, you know, kind of find something that's, you know, soilish nearby, and then name the soil near you. And so this will, and then you'll talk about the soil profile, which is on, so once you click on one of these, this is your soil profile, and it'll ask questions about that. So you should be okay. If it's causing too much consternation, then just skip it. It's fine. But do this part. Definitely do this. Definitely do this. But if you are struggling with this website loading up, I know that students have had a problem answering the questions, but give it the old college try and go from there. All right. Let's see. If I go back to the module, I think the only other thing is your discussion for this week. There is an optional activity, as usual. It's on climate classification. And then your biome discussion, after you do the biome activity, where you explore various biomes, and then watch this short video, then I want you to pick a biome in the world, and I want you to imagine you're stranded there, or your plane crashed, or I don't know, make up an interesting story, but make sure you talk about these things. So, you know, what are you most excited to see? You know, you're like, I landed in the tropical rainforest and I'm really excited, except for it's hot and I'm wearing, you know, pants and a coat because I thought I was going to, you know, Alaska or something. I don't know. Have fun with it, but make sure you describe the biome, some of the animals, definitely the climate, like what's the temperature, kind of soils you're gonna find. Is it like mushy and squishy? Is there a weird smell? Or they're like crazy animals that you're afraid are gonna jump out and eat you? You know, things like that. And then make sure you reply to other people too. All right. That's all I have for today. Have a great week. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. And as always, it's been my pleasure.